upload this video on Friday so that it's Friday chat, but I'm actually filming it on Thursday. So it is Thursday, June 28th. It's about 10 o'clock in the morning. This is my second attempt shooting this video. I'm having some technical difficulties this morning. Anyway, as you guys know, I had a friend coming from out of town to stay with us for 10 days. Her husband is in a graduate course in Vermont, so she comes to stay with us in the summers when he does that for 10 days. She does periodically go visit him on campus just to be with her husband. So she's actually going to be with him tonight. She's with him now. She's going to spend the night with him tonight, and she'll be back home tomorrow. So I'm taking advantage of some downtime. Lee is happily occupied in her room playing a video game on the computer with her friends. I'm taking advantage of some downtime to shoot a video, and I'm trying to make it as quick as possible, but I do have some stuff to cover. It's going to be like part haul, part show off, part catch up stuff, whatever. First thing I wanted to point out is that I am making an effort to catalog my stamp and die collection, and I know that there are apps that exist that do this and things like that. I didn't want to use any of that. I've decided to put everything on my Pinterest page, and I'll link that down below because I have affiliate apps now, affiliate links now to use. So I thought that I would catalog everything on Pinterest. It just makes it a little bit easier for me, and it's already kind of saved my butt a couple of times. So, and also I thought it would be really convenient for me when I'm looking for inspiration or whatnot to just kind of look at everything on the board at once. Right now I don't think that my personal collection of stamps is big enough to justify multiple boards. So I have just one Pinterest board for stamps and dies, and I made sub boards underneath it for organizing. I finished with my Kindred stamps, and now I'm working on Lawn Fawn. And let me show you really quick. This is my Lawn Fawn collection minus about maybe 10 sets that I'm currently working on that's over here in my different work baskets from different levels of works in progress. But anyway, these are my totes that I use. They're called Freshness Keepers. I get them from Ocean State Job Lots. They're about $7 a piece, including these lids. I don't normally put the lids on them unless I know I'm not going to be crafting for a couple days, and then it's just to help keep the dust out because I like things neat and tidy. They're not as big as the lovely refrigerator organizers that other people use, but I don't have a lot of space here. And as you can see, they fit a stamp pocket just fine. As they slip in here, I don't open my packages until I've used them. So that's a bad example, but so the tops obviously stick out, but they do fold down easily. This excess plastic folds down so I can still put the lid on. This is just the Lawn Fawn. There are some that don't fit. Like my 4x8 stamp sets are my favorite things. Obviously I can't put the lid on that tote because they're just too big. Anyway, so I just wanted to show you really quick that this is what I use for a close-up on my stamp totes, and these pockets I get from what is it called? These Amazon. I get these on Amazon. They're just plastic DVD cases. And I'll link those down below if you're interested. So that is what I use for that. And anyway, so basically what I'm doing is I'm pulling out a couple of stamp sets. This is why the tote's on my desk every time I come to my desk, and then I'm making myself look up the affiliate links and get everything loaded onto Pinterest to get organized. So I'm actually pretty close. This is all I have left to do for the stuff that's in the tote anyway. I haven't touched any of the things that are in the basket over here, but I'll get to them. So anyway, so I'll link all that down below if you're interested in taking a look. So far, organization-wise, it's really working out well for me. So let me show you a card that I made. Actually, no, let me show you the cards that my daughter has made. She made, using supplies, just playing in my craft supplies, made some cards for my husband and me in the past couple of days since she's been on summer vacation. Very cute. Those were a nice little surprise. She broke, let me show you, she used my stamp press, and I know that it's not, it's just a generic stamp press, and actually this particular one was discontinued because I think Misty sued Hampton Arts because of patent issues, and actually won, so they had to pull this off the market. However, they didn't, for sale, however they didn't recall it, so that's why I don't have any issues I don't have any issues using it or showing it to you. You won't be able to find this to purchase this particular one. However, it wasn't recalled. So we can, if you have one, then you can still obviously use it because the consumer has done nothing wrong here. Anyway, so my daughter, it's not a Misty, but my daughter calls it a Misty because she watches all the crafting videos with me and everybody has a Misty. So this is what she calls a Misty. But anyway, so she was stamping with this, and I think what probably happened is she had a stack of more than one magnet like that and wasn't paying attention here in the corner and was like jamming down on it, and she actually broke one of the plastic parts of the hinge here. So it might be time to consider, obviously it still functions, and so it's not an emergency, but it might be consider adding a new one onto my my wish list here somewhere down behind the Gemini, because I'm still waiting to replace my Cuttlebug. I'd like to go probably with the Tim Holtz, the large stamp one, because you can fit a whole 12 by 12 piece of paper in there, which I think would be great for scrapbooking. We'll see. We'll see. That's far on down the road, but I just wanted to show you that. And then the last card that my daughter made, my husband's birthday is on Sunday. He's going to be 44, and my daughter made him a birthday card. And she hand drew this one, which is really cute, her little superhero for daddy. So I'm going to have to pack that with her. So I made a birthday card for my husband as well. And I hauled it fairly recently for you guys. I used the Kindred Stamps Happy Accident stamp set. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. Which is Bob Ross inspired, as you can see. Kindred Stamps does a lot of pop culture-y stamp stuff, which are a lot of fun. This particular stamp set is slender, so it lives in this pocket here with this other stamp set that doesn't have anything, which is a nice stamp set, of course, but it doesn't have anything to do with the card that I made for my husband, and that's why I'm trying to cover it up. Anyway, so my husband and I are big Bob Ross fans. Sometimes I'll watch some of his videos on YouTube to try to fall asleep at night, and my husband will watch with me, and we always talk about how much fun it would be to try to do a tutorial together. We never do, of course. Did you guys know that easels are really expensive? We've looked into it before. We thought it would be fun to have side-by-side easels and goof around with Bob Ross every night, and we just haven't gotten to it. Anyway, so this is the card that I made for my husband using this stamp set. I heat embossed the happy little tree sentiment in here. This is obviously Bob Ross that I've stamped and colored and fussy cut out. I did purchase the electronic die cutting file for the stamps. I forgot that I even had it, and I stamped, before I remembered, I had already stamped and colored and fussy cut it out, but anyway, next time, I guess, next time. And I used it black card base because if you've ever watched any of his videos, basically his whole background is black except for the area where he's in is illuminated and everything else is black, so that's why I did that. And I used the that silver embossing powder from Hero Arts that I got a few months ago in a kit, just to kind of match the frame that I made for the picture. And you open up the card, and then I've watercolored on the inside, sticking to the theme of painting, even though I'm aware that Bob Ross used oils, I believe. And this is just watercoloring with my Tombow markers. And then I heat embossed the No Mistakes, Just Happy Accident sentiment, and then I left a little spot for me to write a little kissy love note for my husband. I thought this sentiment was fitting because I actually smudged a little ink here, and I just covered it with a punch cut of a red heart. Anyway, and I did some just really simple masking with the trees, and I don't know if you can even see if it picks up on it. Just a couple, I stamped the clouds in some of that Hero Arts white pigment ink just to kind of make it look a little cloudy. And basically I just kind of blobbed it on with a Tombow and then spread it around with water. And these are heat embossed using VersaFine and then my clear detail embossing powder that I get from Recollection. So just very simple, but a lot of fun to make, and actually a little bit time consuming to make. It took a little bit longer than I thought it was going to be on this one, but I had a lot of fun. Anyway, so that's using Kindred Stamps, and I will probably be posting pictures of this on my social media, or at least my Instagram soon, because my husband's not on the Instagram, so he's not going to see. Real quickly, you guys remember I hauled, weeks ago, I purchased the Shake, Rattle, and Roll Art Impressions stamp set from a D-stash that I found on Facebook, and I stamped it out, and I pulled it out. Let me see if I can show you. I pulled it out to show you in another attempt at filming this video when I've since put it away because I don't know what I'm doing today. Anyway, so one of the bones here doesn't stamp all the way through. It's an actual defect with the photopolymer is missing in that spot, and I didn't notice it obviously until I was stamping it out. So I took pictures of it and I emailed Art Impressions, and even though I didn't purchase it from them, they were more than happy to replace the stamps. So they did. They just sent this part. They replaced the stamps. I thought they were just going to replace this one stamp. So this is kind of well above and beyond. But they replaced all of these. They didn't send. This is how it came to me. They didn't send me the the package with the dies in it and everything. But just the stamp here, and this stamp, obviously, as you can see, I've already looked, is not defective. So that's cool. I'm really kind of them, even though I didn't buy the stamp from them. It was somebody else's D-stash. They didn't happen to mention to me in the D-stash that the stamp was defective. They may not have known too, so I don't think that it was necessarily done with malice. Anyway, so now I have this whole replacement set. If anybody wants the faulty other one, we'll de-stash it. But they also sent me this little free gift, this really cute little gray rubber panda stamp. And I love Art Impressions stamps. I am trying to not keep small little stamp sets like this that are very difficult to get into pockets, so I might end up de-stashing this one as well, but super cute. Thank you very much, Art Impressions. Fantastic customer service. They got back to me within a matter of hours, and then by the end of that day, I had the tracking numbers for the new thing that they were placing, so awesome. I'd never purchased directly from Art Impressions before, but I will tell you, after this experience, I will be doing it now. Okay. So moving on, I have another haul to show you. This one is from craftgolly.com, and I won a Facebook contest from them where I won a $10 credit to their store, and I was just peeking in the clearance section, which is usually, unless I'm specifically at a site for something, I'm usually, the first place I go is like clearance and sale sections because I don't like paying full price for anything. And I knocked 2 different Avery Elle sets off my wish list just in their clearance section. These were sold as a set. I got the Beside the Sea stamp and die set from Avery Elle. Really cute. I was going to get these recently, but I decided to get the Hello Chum set that I hauled a few weeks ago that you guys saw, because that one's a little bit harder to get, and I grabbed that one while I could, but this one I couldn't. For both the stamps and the dies, these were sold as a set. It was $11. I couldn't turn that away. And then I grabbed also from my wish list the Stoked set. Again, this is sold as a set, the stamp and the dies together on the website, and these were on clearance. This wasn't as excuse me, sort of teenage boy centric, if you will, with the drums and the skateboards, and of course any gender could use this, but I thought that this would be a lot of fun for my daughter, actually, because I have to keep my voice down. She's asked for a skateboard for her birthday this year, and her birthday's in a couple weeks, so we'll see how that goes. Anyway, stamps and dies together, a lot of fun sentiments go with this one. This one should be pretty fun to color as well. I like kind of the thicker line, cartoony, if you will, images appeal to me more than things that are realistic. Anyway, so this stamp and die together, $13.50. You cannot pass that up. Just the stamp set is like $16. Amazing deal. So anyway, and I had a $10 coupon that I had won. So all together, including shipping, which was $3.16, I got all 4 of these pieces for $17.66. Amazing deal, right? Super excited about that. So I have another haul to show you. And this comes, I did my first purchase from the Ink Road, which has kind of been on my wish list for a while, and I just finally got around to ordering from them. They actually had 5 different stamp sets that I was interested in. 2 of them were out of stock, so I did get 3 of the ones that I had wanted. This one is called Majestic AF, which stands for majestic as F word. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say that on YouTube or not. I say it all the time in real life, but I know I sound polite, but I'm really... I swear a lot. And I don't mean to. Fortunately, my daughter's pretty immune to me now. Let's see. And the next one I got is a sentiment stamp set inspired by the Friends sitcom, which came of age during the 90s. So obviously this was a show that I enjoyed very much and still enjoy to this day. I own all 10 seasons on DVD, and at least once a year I usually cycle through. They're on Netflix now too. I usually cycle through the whole thing at least once a year. And look, it's the couch from the Central Perk, so all these really fun sentiments. I really like this one here, and I'm totally going to turn it into a cow theme card, of course, but this is all a moo point. It's like a cow's opinion. It just doesn't matter. It's moo. So pretty amazing, right? So this is another one that has been on my wish list. And then, of course, there's this stamp set that is inspired by the movie Mean Girls, which was a Lindsay Lohan movie. I'm not a very big Lindsay Lohan fan, but I do really love this movie, and so does my friend Dan. So this stamp set he's pretty much the reason why I got this stamp set, and his birthday is technically tomorrow. So when this video goes live, it will be his birthday on Friday. And I'm seeing him on Monday, so I wasn't going to mail his card. I'll give him his card in person. But so this one is hysterical, and in particular this on Wednesdays we wear pink sentiment. It's fantastic. He works as kind of like an administrative professional, intake and outtake person for a nursing home, and he even has at this point pretty much all of the nurses on staff dressing in pink on Wednesdays, and just a lovely guy. Love him to pieces. So I wanted to make a very special birthday card for him this year. And I want to show you the card. Now, I did do a process video when I was making this card. It might or might not get turned into an actual process video with a voiceover. I haven't seen any of the footage yet, but I suspect that it sucks just because trying to work on something here while the camera is here is just not good. So it might not even be worth showing you guys because you won't even be able to see what I'm doing. I haven't had a chance to look at the footage yet. We'll see. Just in case, I will show you the cards and tell you about it so that you, if you're inspired by it, that you can work on it. And I will link the Ink Road and all the stamp sets down below. I do have to show you one other product that I use. Well, I use a lot of products, but one other stamp set that I used to incorporate into his card is I did grab my Sewn with Love stamp set from Lawn Fawn, which is a great stamp set. He is a sewer. He's a self-taught quilter who's very talented. And he has since taken quilting to new levels and now is making clothing and dresses from patterns. He taught himself how to read patterns. He basically, his wedding was 3 years ago. He basically made all of the clothing for the wedding party. Maybe not so much for the men, but he made the dresses for all the women, all the not cummerbund, what's the word I'm looking for? The vests for the men, for the children in the wedding party. He made all of their dresses and vests, and that is not a small feat. His husband has like 9,000 nieces and nephews, so, and he even made a dress for my daughter, who was technically not in the wedding party, but she had a matching dress as well. He did all of that. It took him like 1.5 years to make all the stuff. Just amazing. And now and of course, that was 3 years ago, but now he's moved on and he's making gorgeous costumes. And if you're on Instagram at all, you'll see that he interacts with me pretty frequently on Instagram. You can go check out his page and see some of his work that he's done. He usually starts like he'll make the Halloween costumes, usually like a couple's theme for him and his husband, and he usually starts like the day after Halloween the previous year on their costumes. So that is how much work that he puts into these things, and they're amazing. I think they were Batman and Robin last year. Just amazing. Anyway, so I used this stamp set, and then of course I had to incorporate some Mean Girls into his stamp set. Anyway, so this is the card that I made for Dan. Boom. And obviously it has glitter because it's Dan and he needs glitter. This background paper is glitter paper from Recollections. It's the kind that comes in the paper pad and not the kind that you buy the individual sheets, because it has that really fine glitter look, and it's not the chunky glitter that breaks off and makes a mess, because I don't like a mess. Anyway, so glitter paper, and obviously I stamped and colored some of the sentiments from Sewn with Love. I used pink accents on that because it kind of just tied together the theme of the card. Obviously we like the sentiment. He's not, as far as I know, a special fan of pink, aside from just appreciating it because of this movie. The movie was pure genius. If you like bitchy adult quasi posing as a teen movie, definitely check it out if you haven't seen Mean Girls. Very funny. I don't even like Lindsay Lohan, and I like this movie. Anyway, so, okay, let me rephrase that. I don't dislike Lindsay Lohan because I don't know her. I'm not a fan of her work, the movies that she's been in. But I do really like this movie. Sorry, I didn't mean to sound like a jerk. But anyway. So sentiments are from the Ink Road kit. images from Sewn with Love that colored, die cut, placed. For sentiments, we've got Boo You Whore, You Smell Like a Baby Prostitute, and on Wednesdays we wear pink. All things that have significance to us and our private relationship. So a lot of fun. And I guess my only, and I did use some hot pink ribbon just because I thought it needed a little bit of color, and I cut a slit into the scissors here to kind of make it look like I was trimming the ribbon on the top. And then of course sequins, because you gotta have sequins. So my one issue with this card is I used the foam, oh look at that, there's something that, oh no, I will tell you what that is in a second. I used the foam dots that are from Ms. Sparkling Company that you get at Joann's, and they're not, I think it's just because it's like a lower quality adhesive combined with it being glitter paper. These aren't sticking down as nice as I would like, and it's a little bit frustrating, so I keep having to smoosh them down. I was thinking that the next time they pull off completely, I'll probably stick some E6000 behind, just a couple drops or whatever to help it stay on. I was going to put it in the mail, but then I decided with that, as I explained before, with that issue with it not sticking down very well, it just wasn't worth the risk of it showing up not in good condition, so I didn't mail it, and I'm going to see him on Monday. My friend will be back from her husband tomorrow. We're going to go, she knows him as well, so it hasn't seen him in a good year since she was last in the area, so we're going to drive down to him, and we're going to take him out to lunch for his birthday on Monday, but anyway. I had a lot of fun with this card, and obviously sequins, and you did see a sequin on the card. But it wasn't attached to the card. It doesn't belong to the card, and I will tell you what happened. I was going through the package that these came in, and I noticed that I got a free gift in the package, and I will show you the free gift. It came in this envelope here, and I went to open it up, and the free gift is this ink pad here, which I thought was nice. I don't know if you can see. It's just like a nice, they call it neutral or natural. The color is natural, just a nice brown color, and I determined that I don't need it, so I was going to slip it right, keep it sealed, and just slip it right into my giveaway box for my next giveaway. And then I noticed that they sequin bombed me. Look at that. The whole bottom of this thing was covered in sequins, and the sequins were stuck to the plastic around here, and they made just a big, huge mess. So that's what this sequin is from. It just slipped out. And that's one of the reasons why I don't like sequin bomb, is because the sequins go places where you don't want them to go. This is not very nice. Do not sequin bomb, people. It is not nice. I don't like messy things, so I was not impressed to see that at all. However, I do appreciate a free gift. I do not appreciate loose sequins. I like sequins as much as the next person, but put those in baggies where they belong. And glitter too. Oh my god, I don't like messy things. Anyway. So I think that's pretty much all I had to show you, except one thing that I just started doing that I wanted to talk to you guys about. Is I often use different kinds of white cardstocks and papers to pull together my cards, like watercolor paper and so on and so forth. This is the only workspace pretty much that I have here on the desk, and I usually have piles of stuff everywhere. So when I have to, it requires a little bit of planning in advance if you want to pull together a card. Let's say that I want to cut a piece of watercolor paper to do some watercoloring on it, I have to pull out my stamp, my paper cutter, and it pretty much takes up all this space, and I have to move everything out of the way and cut the piece of paper, then move it back out of the way, and that's fine, but it's pretty time consuming. So I'm just trying to think of a way where I could make life a little bit easier for myself. So I decided that I don't ever need anything large, so I decided that I was just going to cut down my white papers that I use frequently. Now I don't have a space to store them yet, but I'm working on it. I might clean out a drawer or whatnot. I already pre-make a lot of my card bases and stuff in batches and get them scored and then put them in, a specific drawer, but that drawer is pretty full. But I thought that I would start doing that with the papers that I use frequently for card making as well. So for example, I cut down all my watercolor paper. So this is the Canson XL watercolor paper. It comes in a 9x12 paper pad, and I basically just cut it into quarters, and then I cut the little just where it says watercolor off the front page to just slip in here to keep it together. So basically I just cut them all down into quarters and put them in this bag here, which I can seal up because they're white, and it'll help keep it dust free and fingerprint free and dirty free and accident free. These bags I save all of those plastic bags that you get. Like if you order from Blitsy or Hallmark Scrapbook, they usually send you things sealed in these Ziploc bags. I save them for future uses, and this is one of the future uses. So this is what I did with all of my watercolor paper, and this is its temporary storage in this bag. I also did my Bristol, my Strathmore Bristol paper I cut down, which also comes in paper pads of 9 by 12 sheets. They make them in different sizes too. That's just what I happen to get of these ones, and I cut those into quarter pages as well. These, let me grab that card again that I just had from Dan. This is obviously 9 by 12, so it's a little bit bigger than a card base, but I figure I would do what I want on it. If it's going on a card front, then I just cut it down to size. Mostly what I do with my Bristol and my watercolor paper, and then I also did the same thing to my Spectrum Noir that I used for my alcohol coloring, and these come in 8.5 by 11 sheets, so these do fit on a whole card base if I decide to use it that way. But mostly what I do is with these particular 3 items here, is that I'm stamping on them and then coloring, and then I'm die cutting them out. So these are the perfect size to fit still in my stamp press. And in fact, these are the sizes that I usually cut them to when I'm doing my stamping before coloring, and now they're just pre-cut. And they're in bags and safe, and it's working out great for me. And the last one that I have, and I don't have a label for this one because it's just my standard white cardstock that I use for Staples. And I didn't cut a lot of this because I don't use a lot of it, because I utilize these more, but I do occasionally need them, so I thought that I would just cut a few and to have those ready on hand as well. And this will hopefully eliminate having to set projects aside to cut more paper. I find that what happens to me a lot, say that I have, 6 different stamp sets, and I want to stamp out all of the images so that I can color them all at once and die cut them all at once, basically mass production. And sometimes I'm stamping multiples of a stamp set. I'll usually run out of the paper that I've cut. I'll underestimate, and I don't have enough paper to finish what I need to do with it. So I need to move everything out of the way. I need to get the paper cutter out again, and I need to cut more, and then put everything, and then pull everything back out. So hopefully this will eliminate that, and I can literally just grab a couple and work with it, and then if I need more, then I'll grab more. And by not storing the large paper pads, at least, of the Bristol and the watercolor paper in the cabinet over here, I'm buying back a lot of space in that cabinet for storage. And also I'll be able to see a lot easier in practical terms on the way that I use it when I'm running low and when I need to reorder some more. So I'll see when I get down to half a dozen sheets of the watercolor paper that I need to order more, versus just kind of like, oh, I need to pull stuff out of the cabinet and see what I need. Anyway, so this is just what I've started doing. I will find a more permanent place to keep these, but in the meanwhile, I have them in these bags, and I'm keeping them over here on my desk for easy grabbing. I just thought that this idea might help someone. I know that because I've seen other kind of crafters do office tours and stuff. I know that this is obviously not a concept that I've invented, but it's not something that I've done before. So it took a little bit of a leap of faith. I was a little bit scared at first. I was like, oh, but if I cut down all my watercolor paper and my Bristol and my Spectrum Noir paper, then what if I need a piece that's bigger and it's already cut down and I don't have anything on hand? And then I'm like, you know what? I've never needed anything bigger than a quarter sheet of any of those, ever. Just never. Because usually if I'm doing a technique with it, I'm making a A2 size card, and I don't need anything bigger than that, because this is the max that the card is, even if I'm using it for the top. So never, ever, ever, and that's just fine. Anyway, so that's what I did. This is the Bristol that I've been using with my Tombow markers for color blending, like if I have 2 colors that I want to blend. This is the one that I'm finding is pilling. I talked about it a little bit last week. It's pilling really easily under just 2 colors of Tombow markers, even with just a really light blend. So I'm pretty irritated with it. I don't know if it's Bristol in general or just this brand, so I do plan to use this up and at least give one other brand a try, see what else somebody else recommends. But I've also heard that this Bristol is really good for distressing blending on, so I'll use it up for that as well. Anyway, that's pretty much all that I have. Showing off and an update, and I'm going to be busy until next. My friend leaves. My friend is leaving to go home in like a week from today, so probably won't be until and then the week I'll work on the weekend, and there probably won't be until like the week after that I'll be touching in more regularly. I hope to at least be able to do one more video in that time. Who knows how it's going to work out. Just filming with company here is just weird. It makes everybody a little uncomfortable. I do have a couple, other than this, I had 2 other videos that I had pre-filmed, planning to put up anyway. One of them is going live as I'm actually talking now, about the Cheap Woman's alcohol ink playing, and then I have another one that's showing off some Lawn Fawn products, showcasing the invitations that I made for my daughter's party, and that one's going to go up probably next week. So I do have those going up, so it's not like I have 0 content coming out. I did plan in advance for this. I think that's pretty much all I have going. I can't really start on party favors for my daughter's birthday party yet because we've only had 5 people RSVP yes so far. We've had a couple no's, but basically most people haven't even bothered to RSVP yet, but it's still a little early for that. For Happy Mail stuff, I'm working on a flip book type thing, sort of like what I showed you guys a couple weeks ago that I've been working with, but it has a specific theme and I don't want to get into it yet. I'll show it when it's time. I'm also working on a Memorydex card exchange and a Pocket Tag exchange. So those are some things that I'll be working on in addition to just keeping on with trying to list new product in my Etsy store. I still have a bunch of cards sitting over here that I'm periodically listing new cards on my Etsy shop. My Etsy has been pretty slow. It's just the season. I mean, it's slow because nobody's sitting at home shopping. It'll pick up for me in September when people start buying more Christmas cards, but I really wish that it wasn't slow because all of my crafty spending money comes from my Etsy sales. So if I'm not selling anything on Etsy, I can't go shopping, and I keep getting all these emails, and there's some really good sales going on right now. But anyway, nothing I can do about it. We're still, we've got rent due in a couple of days, and then of course the whole cycle of all of our bills due over again, so money's just tight, and I'm still waiting to get my car repaired. You guys remember that whole debacle. Anyway, hopefully next week I'll have time to get that done. That is what I have so far. I hope that you've enjoyed. I hope that you're well, and thanks very much, and take care. Bye!